Welcome to the first Sogcast episode of the regular season. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Sogcast. I'm Patrick.
I'm Matt.
I'm Garrett.
And I'm Owen.
The Mariners are off to a little bit of a rough start, 1-2. Abysmal showing tonight on Saturday. Got shut out 2-0 by the Guardians. God, just an awful game. Couldn't get anything going. And it's frustrating, but I mean, we're not fooling ourselves. The Mariners always start off slow. It's what they do. But it's also hard not to be frustrated even this early in the season. Especially, I went to the game tonight, sat there, crowd, it was packed. And just nothing to show for it. There was only 3 hits by the Mariners tonight. And let's be real, there was only 2. The scorekeeper gifted Julio a hit. It was a ground ball right to the shortstop and obvious boot, easy air. Because it was Julio and his bobblehead night, they gifted him a hit, which you can do if you're the scorekeeper. But
home field advantage.
But it 100% should have been an error. So essentially only 2 hits tonight. Tommy LaStella with the only extra base hit. He had a double in like the 8th inning. And that's pretty much all that happened. It was a rough showing today.
Yeah, no need to panic. I mean, historically, they're always been pretty rough opening day weekend and the month that follows. You know, coming back from Zona where they're playing in games that are, 75, 80-degree weather, sun's out. And then coming here where it's just overcast and cold, it's just a really hard adjustment to make, especially hitting has got to be real awful.
For sure. I don't think that it's a huge deal. We lost 2-0. It sucks not to score. You can't win if you don't score. Like, we're supposed to have better offense. We didn't have a great showing today. Savali had a good outing for the Guardians. But so did Logan Gilbert. Like, Logan Gilbert showed he went 6 innings, 7 Ks.
Yeah, he was pitching a dime of a game, and he literally only made one mistake.
Yeah, that bomb by Josh Naylor.
Yeah.
And he's a big dude, If he hits the ball, he puts the barrel on the ball, he's going to hit it pretty far. So, I don't know. I mean, nothing to complain about on Logan's side. Matt Festa came in, was shaky, walked a bunch of dudes, couldn't throw a strike, It's going to happen a couple times. Everyone has to settle into their role. A 2-run deficit, not bad. Just scoring 0 is bad.
Yeah.
We were in it. We have a base runner on. We can tie up the game with one swing of the bat because of the threat in our lineup. It just didn't go our way today, that's for sure.
And again, it almost seems like this is sometimes an issue with the Mariners. It seems like when the crowd is packed and there's a lot of energy, the Mariners can tend to underperform when there's like that much pressure on them. And I think part of it is they want to perform for their fans. I mean, obviously it's not like they want to go out there and do poorly ever, but when that kind of pressure is on, they want to put on the best game possible. And I think sometimes maybe they're just out there thinking too much, like trying too hard instead of just relaxing and letting the game happen. And it's again frustrating to let Logan down like that. I mean, come on. The dude pitched a gem, and you can barely squeak together a couple of hits. It's early, and the Mariners did win on opening day. But again, they're off. I mean, it was a Ty France home run in the 8th inning, and that was pretty much the only offense in that game, too. But again, it's just Mariners season starting woes. It's going to be probably around June before they start waking up, and the weather gets warmer, and they start playing better.
It really takes some time to see how things start shaking out and have things click on all cylinders or different cylinders clicking at different times. Like, see how the team works together and see when everyone's hot at the same time, it's going to be super dangerous. But it's hard to have everyone clicking at the same time all the time. So right now we have a couple guys doing it. Ty France is out there hitting the ball all around.
Yep.
Julio Rodriguez is a little bit aggressive, but when he puts the barrel on the ball, he's smoking it, even to opposite field, which is awesome to see. He has oppo power, easy. So, I mean, right now it's the beginning of the season. It really takes a few weeks to figure out how the chemistry is and like how things can really roll together and momentum pushes can happen.
And actually, I want to give a little bit of credit to Matt Festa today because I believe his final total threw like 19 or 20 pitches and only 5 strikes. So he walked a couple guys and stuff. He was shaky, but to his credit, he didn't give up a run. So even though he was wild and stuff, he still managed to get the 3 outs and get out of the inning. So I'll count that even as a positive. So he wasn't hanging meatballs over the middle or, like trying to overcompensate like, oh, I can't hit a corner, so let me just serve one up. He didn't do that. So, took only 5 strikes in an entire inning, which is crazy, but he got out of it without giving up a run. So, I'll give him a little bit of credit for that.
A little soft contact. It works.
Yeah. And another positive takeaway from this game, JP's defense looked really nice tonight. JP and Suarez over at third. A lot of balls were hit to the left side tonight. JP showed off some range. There was one play, he had some good range, couldn't make the throw, but still made a diving stop, kept it in the infield. And then he had another sliding grab and a great throw. So it was nice to see early glove work from JP. His bat is still a little meh, and in clutch situations when you need even just a fly ball or something to the right side, he's not coming through. But it's nice to see the glove.
I think he is having decent at-bats. He's trying to do the right thing in the right situation. He is still kind of a pesky guy. He'll foul balls off, have a long at-bat. I like what he's doing. It's just that, he's not there yet, He's not stroking the ball around. He's not getting that fly ball when we need it, But he's still decent. We'll see what happens. I like him in the 9-hole before Julio.
Yeah, and the Mariners have a chance to win tomorrow on Sunday and have a 2-2 series split to start the season. That'll be nice. You don't really want to be 1-3 in your opening homestand. That'll be a little rough. Then we got the Angels coming to town right after. They put up like a 15 spot or 13 spot or something against the A's today. But let's stick it to the Angels because God, I hate the Angels.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of playing against the Angels, Robbie Ray got sent onto the IL.
Yeah.
Fire.
They brought up Gabe Spire. He pitched today, pitched great today.
He pitched awesome. It was
So
really nice.
Good for him. Looks like Chris Flexen's probably going to take Robbie Ray's spot against the Angels, which is cool. I'm down with that.
I'm good with that.
That's why we have him around.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Yeah, and it was nice having that little bit of pitching depth. It's kind of crazy that the Mariners managed to go all of last year without a starter getting injured, and it was game 2 yesterday, and we already lost Robbie Ray for a little bit of time. I am also kind of wondering how much of it is injury and how much of it is air quotes injury, where like getting a little rattled and stuff and the velocity wasn't quite there, and it's like, okay, maybe you need a little bit extra time to kind of figure shit out.
Yeah, I don't think Robbie Ray likes the adjustment from Arizona to Seattle, and he insists on wearing short-ass
I
sleeves.
was going to
and
say he wore a T-shirt.
That
Yeah.
drives
Cold,
me
bro.
crazy.
It's like, wear long sleeves because it's cold. Don't risk injuring yourself because of that difference. You just came from being in the desert for months, or a month, come on.
Yeah, it's always weird, and all baseball players are neurotic, and pitchers are probably the most, and they're most slaves to their routines. But, man, if you're coming from the heat of Arizona to 45 degrees in Seattle, wear long sleeves. I know you like to show off your guns and stuff and wear the short sleeves, but it's clearly not doing him any favors. And he's been outspoken before about how he doesn't like the cold. So it's
Yeah.
like, well, then warm up a little bit, bro.
Yeah, your ghost injury proposal makes more sense in that light, where he doesn't like pitching in the cold, and it's like, well, early season, 2 weeks. When's the next homestand? Hopefully it'll be warmer. Let's just give you a couple weeks here. Keep your arm warm. Don't let it get too soggy. Robbie Ray. He didn't even pitch in the World Baseball Classic, but he's got the sog already. What is this? The first soggy arm of the season, guys.
I don't like Robbie Ray. I mean, you just
Come on,
I
I like him.
understand you don't like the cold. I hate the cold. I'm always fucking cold. I'm in this garage right now, and I have a sweatshirt on and this down coat, and I'm next to a heater. I hate being cold. I'm not gonna let the cold take me out of the equation for my job. Where my job, I'm out here getting paid like $10 million a year to pitch. Like, just put on a fucking long sleeve, bro.
Yeah, dude.
Also,
Little bit of
Owen
a-
said garage, but what he meant was penthouse in Seattle. We do this big time. We got to take an
We're on
elevator.
top
All
of
the,
the Space Needle.
we take it all the way up. It's,
What a view.
Oh, it's beautiful out here.
Well, if we just keep going backwards, we get to the opening day game where Luis Castillo absolutely slayed.
Yeah, great gem from him to start the season. Pitched really well. Bit of a scary moment with that
Yeah.
comebacker
Whoa,
that came
dude.
back. Thank God he has such long hair because it honestly it protected the back of his head because that thing, and that was scary at the stadium seeing it too.
I bet. It was scary on TV. I heard someone say, I don't know if he said it, but I think he said, like, it was 50% head, 50% hair. It's like, damn, yeah, it is nice to have that buffer.
There was a moment
wouldn't
that
know.
looked like Cal Raleigh may have gotten a little bit hurt too. Like, maybe did he get hit with a bat or what? Something happened, but
It
I saw
was-
him like kind of wince or like he looked really frustrated that something happened.
It's like a foul tip into the glove really hard, and he, like, flipped his glove off or something like that.
And that is his surgically repaired thumb that he just had done in the offseason.
And that is something you'll do as a catcher where it's an awkward angle and you're already reaching that way so hard and then the ball hits the glove and you kind of flick it off by instinct instead of having it like push harder on your thumb. You know what I mean? He kind of lets the ball take the glove off of his hand almost purposely so it doesn't injure it. I think it's kind of an instinct the catchers have when they reach that direction.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But it is scary to see that because that is what was happening late in the season that led to that injury. So it's never fun to see that kind of instinct, like, oh, he's still babying it or like is worried about it.
Another exciting note, Tom Murphy got his first start today in almost an entire year. He missed damn near the entire season last year with that shoulder injury. And he's back in the lineup. Seemed to catch a good game, and they did pinch hit for Cal in like the 8th. Also, Haggerty got his first game time. They put him in as a pinch runner after the La Stella double. So it's kind of nice to see Haggerty getting some game time. I would like to see him in the field, or I mean, I know they want La Stella DHing for some reason. I don't completely understand it. I'd rather have Haggerty be the DH and La Stella just be a guy.
La Stella's kind of the older man where it's kind of like, yeah, stick him in the DH. He is a good hitter. Like, the thing is, he's always been a hand-to-ball, like hand-eye kind of guy. He's not a swing-and-miss guy. He's a put-it-in-play person. So you kind of want to put him there because he's a good hitter in general. Haggerty, they put him in his strength. Like, stealing bases is a good strength for Haggerty. He is speedy. So they take the older dude out that bangs a double, put the fast young guy in, and let him run. But I think on Sunday we'll see both Tom Murphy and Haggerty probably get starts. And, yeah, especially Sunday I think is a good day to have a start for Tom Murphy.
I would almost like to see Haggerty in the DH. Like, I understand, like, La Stella has that experience, but we made an investment in Haggerty, who's way younger. Like, he needs that, like, he needs those reps in, man. Like, and we're playing, I mean, we also got blank today, so I don't know. You can take what you can.
Yeah, I mean, Haggerty in the DH is cool, but he's so valuable off the bench because he's flexible in the field and he's a great pinch runner. He is a good DH because he's a switch hitter. He seems to be a hand-to-ball kind of guy like La Stella. Like, he doesn't strike out a lot. He'll hit the ball. I don't know. They just want to play their players to their strength. We haven't even seen Pollock in the lineup at all. So
I was
we'll see him DH. We'll see him in the field when Kelnick is out, like is not starting. And, we'll see the rotation. Like, it's been 3 games. So
yeah, I know.
And it's a long season.
we'll see all of the different roster constructions that happen based on results. So right
Yeah,
now
this
we're
probably
seeing
won't
one
come out
form.
till Monday, I think. But tomorrow would be Sunday, and we have Marco Gonzalez pitching. We'll see how the lineup changes as well for the day game.
Mm-hmm.
Might see Pollock. Well, I don't know.
That's interesting. Yeah, like just a short turnaround for the day game, yeah.
Yeah, and
Fucking
hopefully it
Marco.
will be a little bit warmer tomorrow during the day instead of these 40-degree night games. So, I mean, honestly, even on opening day, there was probably 3 or 4 balls that the Mariners hit that will be home runs in July.
I'm saying, man.
Like they put a couple good charges into the ball. Even tonight, actually, JP put a semi-good charge into one that who knows if it's not 40 degrees with that cold air coming in off the sound, maybe it would have carried, that 10 feet further and been a home run.
Yeah, yesterday, I want to say it was Cal Raleigh hit a ball that was like 6 inches away from being a home run. I hope it was Cal Raleigh. I might be getting that wrong. But yeah, dude. And any other day, it would have been gone.
Our park is known to be more of a pitcher's ballpark, and they have adjusted the walls a little bit to be more hitter friendly, but it's still a pitcher's ballpark.
Yeah, the air is just so fucking heavy down there.
Yeah, the marine layer coming in off of Elliott Bay is pretty heavy, and when it's cold, and that marine layer is earlier at night in the spring, and in the summer, it's more high pressure systems. The marine layer doesn't roll in until later, and it's lighter. The ball will travel farther later in the season, but that's just how it is here. We have to remember that it's not going to be a home run ballpark, and some days they're going to start boosting them, but I don't know. Right now, it's cold. Everyone sees that it's cold. All the players seem cold.
I mean, even the announcers are like, well, it started out semi-decent, and now you see all the players' breath on the field, and like,
Yeah.
One thing I also want to talk about, one thing the Mariners are so fortunate about is we have such an amazing broadcast crew. We are so fortunate in that department, especially, by the way, any T-Mobile plan havers, you can download MLB TV for free, so you can watch all MLB games, except for your home team because they black it out. Because
I think it's only till tomorrow.
well, hop on it. But actually, I think it goes till the 4th. But either way, I've been watching a lot of other MLB teams, listening to their radio, listening to their TV calls, and
Boring.
there is a lot of bad announcers out there. It's so crazy that the Mariners are so fortunate in that department. And a big one who some of us have different opinions on is Aaron Goldsmith, who had a chance to sign with his hometown Cardinals and chose to stay here in Seattle and have a more regular role on the announcing side with us. And I love Goldsmith. I think
He's a real one.
his excitement is infectious, and he makes some really great calls. Dave Sims has grown on me a lot. I used to not be able to stand Dave Sims. I really like him a lot. And, I mean, Rick Riz, there's a very real chance that he will go into the Hall of Fame alongside Dave Niehaus.
Absolutely. Yeah, the thing about Goldsmith is that he's a huge dork. His excitement is cool, and I got to hand it to him for sticking around in Seattle after being offered such a big opportunity. But I just can't listen to that guy talk about how many hot dogs he can eat in a sitting.
He's obsessed with talking about food.
He's on and on and on about food.
It was so funny. I was listening to the game at work last night, and he was like, he was like, it's kind of late. My daughter's already in bed. Rico, every Sunday I go and buy donuts. And I'm like, stop talking about food, Goldsmith. Like,
This is how he connects with people, man.
It's
People,
one of
there are
his
foodies out there.
Dude, it really is. That's his go-to.
I don't know. Would you say that T-Mo is a foodie park?
I would think so. They have
Yeah,
they have a lot of variety.
They have like a lot of like exotic shit, like the crickets. They have that like walk right behind home plate.
Ichi roll.
Yeah,
a lot of sushi and stuff at the ballpark and stuff. And
It's all bomb.
yeah, it's a lot of really good food. And with the value menu, like you can get now value hot dogs for $4, and honestly, they're not that much smaller than the $8 hot dogs. Like, go to the value menu, like take advantage.
Goldie's playing on the strength of the park, man.
Maybe. Yeah, there's just so many times where he's like, Rico, remember that time we ate steak? And he's like, yes. He's like, that was awesome. Like, good fucking story.
Also, it does drive me crazy that he calls Rick Riz Rico. That bugs the hell out of me. He's like, hey, Rico.
I think it's hilarious. It's like a little brother type thing where he's just like that annoying, or like that annoying friend that hangs around your group that has good energy, but he's like you all make fun of him, but he's kind of fun. He's your friend. He's part of your group.
Yeah, he seems like a good guy.
He's a good guy.
And I will say
he's also real guilty of, and he gets a good barrel on it. It's high, it's deep, it's caught at the wall. Like, do not get me hyped for that, especially when I have to hear it on the radio and I'm at work or something, and I'm like, oh, god damn it. Aaron, stop doing that.
And I will say that is something that's pretty common with newer announcers and stuff. You won't see that happen really with veterans like Riz and stuff because they've been around the game for so long. And it's kind of like a rookie thing. You learn over time and calling thousands of games. You learn to read it a little bit better and to kind of wait for the ball to clear the wall before you
make the final call.
Yeah.
Dude, let me tell you, Sims has done it to me too many times. I've listened to a lot of games at work, just hanging out, working and listening. And he's got me too many times, like you're saying Goldsmith does now to you. But he has gotten better, man. Sims has gotten better. He sounds a lot sharper this year already. His voice sounds good. At the end of last year, it was all ragged because they were yelling like crazy. And like, I listened to highlights of last year, and yeah, dude, his voice was ripped. But like, when he started talking the first broadcast this year, I was like, who is that? Like, that voice is so crisp and nice, and it's so clean. And I do think the pitch clock helps him like stay on track and
like
keep
more
regimented.
focused,
Yeah, he gets a new focus every 15 seconds, so he gets to reset more often. He doesn't get lost in the
Doesn't
sauce.
ramble.
He doesn't talk about
I really appreciate Dave Sims when they do interviews with people in the booth, especially on the radio and stuff. He's got really good stories. He's a good interviewer. I like his conversations with booth guests a lot.
And he knows a ton of history, especially
So
with like
much.
the Negro Leagues and
Dude,
stuff.
his stories are awesome. Yeah,
And he's passionate about that stuff too. He doesn't just know it; he like loves it.
definitely.
And again, these are all positives that a lot of other teams don't have. Like, I believe I was listening to like a Washington Nationals game, and oh my God, you'd think they'd want to be anywhere else in the world. They just like don't care. And again, that makes it easier to also get excited about Seattle baseball when the guys who are talking to you about the game via TV or radio also really care about the team. It's not a job for them. They legitimately care about the Seattle Mariners, and that helps the fans care.
Yeah, I like when they ask Rick Riz. He grew up in Chicago. Grew up a White Sox fan. They're always like, hey, Rick, would you rather see the Mariners or the White Sox win a World Series? He's like, guys, Mariners all day. Like, don't ask me those questions. But I love Rick Riz.
So yeah, very fortunate in that department. And also, like, if you ever listen to national broadcast games, like through ESPN and stuff, it is terrible. And one of the reasons I brought this topic up is my aunt special requested for me to bring up the topic because she was listening to David Ortiz and A-Rod like talk about baseball, and she was like, I am miserable right now. I hate this. Can you bring it up? And I was like, yeah, I'll bring it up, but I won't tell you exactly when, so you have to listen to the whole thing.
There you go.
He said, Poppy, can he play baseball?
An interesting topic, though, along with Matt saying that Sims might be helped by the pitch clock and not rambling. We are now 3 games into the season, and we're seeing the pitch clock in full effect, and kind of curious what you guys think about it. It's a big change. No kidding. The games are significantly faster. Today's game was 2 hours and 3 minutes.
It's quick.
Very quick. Kind of wanted to
zippy game.
Yeah, kind of wanted to get your guys' thoughts on what you think of the pitch clock so far.
I have real mixed feelings about it. Listening or watching while I'm at home, like it's nice. I don't have to dedicate a whole evening to it. I can do other things. But when I'm at the game, like opening day, I remember we were in the first inning and I took a sip of beer and missed 2 pitches. I'm like, haha, it's only 1-0. And Patrick's like, it's 3-0 right now. I'm like, what? And it's just like now, especially with how like the layout and the level of service at T-Mo, it's like you miss a lot of baseball, like doing like anything if you're not actively watching the game. And so I think it's a mixed bag. I have to watch more games to like kind of get a real feel.
I have noticed the quickness It's been fast, especially with nobody on base. The games are much quicker if a pitcher is dominating. With base runners, it's a little bit different. It stretches out a tiny bit. When there are more foul balls, they give them a few extra seconds to like reset and get back in the box. Like foul balls help spread the game out just a tiny bit. But I also think that it's good. It like the pitchers have to stay focused and throwing. It tires them out quicker. They get into tight spots and they have to perform. It's really pushing the performance. We saw Karinchak fall apart after he got the time clock called on him.
That was awesome.
And the whole crowd on opening day,
Was on his ass,
45,000 people, was loud about it.
It was very, that part was exciting.
So it's cool. It like drives excitement. But it's weird because I'm not like walking around the house and being like, okay, I have a few seconds to go, walk around the corner and do my thing. You will miss 3 pitches instead of like, oh, it's a foul ball. It'll take a second. I'm going to run in the kitchen, do my thing, grab a drink, maybe miss 1 pitch. But no, now it is like you're missing 3 pitches if you're gone for 45 seconds. So it's apparent, but I kind of like it. We'll see how it feels in a couple weeks. It's a new thing for sure, and it is fast.
Yeah, I haven't been to a game yet. I've listened on the radio and watched a couple on TV. But, man, it is so quick. I stepped out for a smoke break on a commercial break, and I missed 2 at-bats. I was like, oh, my God, that's almost a whole inning.
What
That's
happened?
For the whole half a frame, at least, And I was like, oh, wow, that is quick. But, I mean, it's cool for people who like quick baseball. I think there could be a little bit more baseball. 2 hours is pretty short. Like you're saying, though, especially with no runners on base, it goes extremely quick. But, I mean, the Mariners would make some contact. Maybe we'd get a little length out of it.
And I will say, last night's game was high scoring. It was 9-4. And the game did run long because there was more offense. And so I think, if nothing's happening, which I guess is kind of their point, if it's just 3 up, 3 down every inning, it shouldn't take 30 minutes.
Like, how long do casuals want to watch a 0-0 ball game?
That's true, too,
So, if it's 0-0 going into the 7th, you've only spent an hour and a half watching baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point, Garrett. I was just about to say, like, isn't it like part of the magic to go to the stadium and watch baseball for like 3.5 hours? But then it's just like, it's only magical to people who actually give a shit. It's, T-Mobile has the Pen, which is like their standing room bar, where it's just like, 2,000 people not giving a single shit about the game. They're just there to drink and socialize. They don't give a shit. And if it's faster, it's faster. Who cares? But for me, it's like, I really like dedicating a whole night, like travel, getting there early, getting beers and food and chilling and watching pregame and then watching the whole game and then a little bit of that, like the post game. It's like a whole thing. And now it's like all changed and weird. And it's a hard adjustment for me as like a true fan.
Yeah, I could totally see that.
Yeah, when you grow up going to games and you expect them to be 3 hours, there's a beauty to it, right? You go there, you're expecting that. And I'm thinking, I haven't been to a game yet, but I'm thinking when I go to a game, I'll make sure I'm in my seat watching that damn game because it could be 2 hours. And if I get out of my seat to go get a drink, it's like I'm risking missing a whole inning, you know what I mean? But the whole idea, though, like the quicker game, I'm hoping it'll break up the whole social club aspect of the game where more people are focused on the game because it does suck to go stand out there in the Pen, which is actually a cool place to be if you could watch the game. It's all a bunch of people standing in circles
getting the fights
with their
and shit.
back to the game. And I'm like, hey, you guys, like, can I stand up there while you guys are all turned around facing me? Like, let me stand there.
Plays on stage. I'm not trying to put on a play right now. I'm trying to be entertained.
Name that reference in the comments if you know it.
If you get it, I'll buy you a beer.
Another thing that irks me, and maybe this is just me, I don't know how you guys feel, but like just getting to Seattle almost seems like a chore. And like we have the easiest shit now because we had the light rail. well, like
Shout out light rail.
yeah, thank God. It's like that's just like a quick 15, 20-minute drive to park, free parking. We hop on like a trolley, fucking speed train. I don't know what the fuck you would call it.
The trolley.
What is
We go straight to the UK. Hop on the trolley.
It's not like a bullet train, is it?
I mean, it's more similar to a bullet train than a trolley.
I don't know. I feel like you'd be if you're comparing speed, it's closer to a trolley than a bullet train.
What trolley goes 65 miles per hour?
What
light
fucking
rail.
bullet train goes slower than like 130?
Yeah, it's definitely not a bullet train.
I don't know. It seems for like the more casual people, it's like almost like worthless now. It's like getting into Seattle like is not very pleasant. And so it's like, oh, I'm only going to be there for like 2 hours, 20 minutes. Like, what's the point? I just watch this shit on TV. I don't know. I don't know what the parking situation, the like travel time to other stadiums is.
Today, parking for Julio bobblehead, we saw $90 near the stadium to pay for parking.
Yo, that's another good point. People I've seen on Twitter, people complaining about price increases for parking. And they're talking about like Dodgers and like Braves and, God, who else? White Sox, maybe Chicago, and they're like, "Oh my God, parking is like $30 now," and I'm just like, I was just flabbergasted. I'm like, like on like an average night, no promotion, the Mariners are like 10 games under 500. It's easily $40, 45, $50.
I saw
Easy.
signs for 75.
It's just
get out of here.
ridiculous.
The
Light
tickets,
train.
the tickets they sell to the Mariners garage attached to the stadium are $30, and then if you try to park anywhere else, yeah, it's $30 plus. That's close.
The stadium parking's so fucked, bro. Like you
I
just
know.
Oh my God,
the
it's
garage.
so tight in there.
You have
It's
to
so
leave
tight.
early to get out.
You
Otherwise
do.
you're
I mean,
in a
there's
huge snake.
I'm pretty sure there's only one entrance, one exit. So like everyone's just bottlenecked in there.
Yeah.
And like when you go into the stadium, like you have to back up so that the process of leaving is easier, which makes sense. But then like getting into the stadium takes like 45 fucking minutes.
I love the stadium, but there's some things to figure out, and it is weird the area it's in right next to the interchange, the freeway interchange, and like all of the tight parking areas and alleyways and blocked off streets. It is kind of an awkward place, and it sucks to have to put on a giant event for 40,000 people in that space. But they do have some things to figure out, that's for sure. I do love the stadium. It's so nice. The stadium, once you're in the stadium and you're like taking it all in, I love being there. The
Stadium's
ambiance is
sick.
great. But
Beautiful.
the whole process, like you're saying, the
Getting
whole
to that
trip,
moment, it sucks.
you have to
yeah.
expect to have a lot of patience. You have to have a lot of patience to go through that whole process and come out of it not feeling like, do I really want to do it again?
Yeah,
and it is
that's-
fun. I really love going to games. I love the stadium.
Just got a note from producer Nathan. He just told me, makes you wonder what All-Star Weekend's going to be look like and just how much of a fucking shit show it's
Shit
gonna be.
show, 100%. It's gonna be fucking terrible.
I mean, it was so bad today. So for example, today was Julio bobblehead day. Bunch and I went to the game. We got there 2 hours, actually 2 hours. It was first pitch was at 6:40. We got off the light rail at around 4:00, and the line from the left field entrance, which is right as close as you can get to the train station, was all the way past CenturyLink. It had wrapped down, Royal Brom, and looped through the main area. It was all the way past CenturyLink. And it's just, with All-Star Weekend coming up this year, they're going to have to figure it out, and they're going to have to figure it out quick. I know inside the stadium, they have added kind of like Climate Pledge has with the Amazon grab and goes to kind of reduce lines and stuff. There's a handful of them sprinkled out throughout the stadium. And so that can be slightly more beneficial, but still, when you walk into the stadium, going through right field on the 100 level is completely fucking bottlenecked. Also, I was trying not to say any F words. Sorry, Grandma. But it's bottlenecked, and it's a shit show. It's so hard to get through and maneuver around people. And when we get through All-Star Week, it's only going to be worse. And if they do not figure it out, they're going to have some serious logistical problems.
Sorry, I got distracted. Are you drinking gin right now?
Gin and squirt, yeah.
My man. Can someone explain to me why the policy is that it only opens 2 hours, 2.5 hours before game time? Like, why wouldn't, when we are expecting like such a, like Julio bobblehead night was going to be a big draw, like why not just open up like an extra hour early? Like, it just seems like counterintuitive to just be like, hey, you're going to have to, 20,000 fans are going to have to wait like an hour line for this shit.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Open it up earlier. Let the people come in the ballpark, start buying beers. If you're
Yeah, they
there
would make
early
more
enough,
money.
then there wouldn't be crazy lines outside of the ballpark. You'd have
Exactly.
people inside spending money.
And for example, like today when Nathan and I showed up, we were prepared to stand in line for a bobblehead, and it was so bad we went to tacos and tequila and hung out until 20 minutes before game time for the lines to clear out so we could just walk right in. And the thing is, if they had opened the stadium earlier, that is money we would have spent inside rather than at another establishment. So some of the logistics and the decisions they make, it is just really baffling. Again, don't let this completely deter you as fans and like coming to the game. If you plan accordingly and do it right, you can still have an enjoyable experience. But if you're a casual person, which let's be real, if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably more than just a casual fan. So you can be more prepared. But the average like Joe Schmo trying to take his family, he's not going to be prepared for this kind of stuff. And it's going to ruin the experience for all of them.
If you have the ability, take the light rail.
100%.
It's just a much better
So easy.
option.
And it's like $5.
It's so easy.
Well,
Don't
$5
pay for
if you pay.
parking. You
If
get
you pay.
off right outside the stadium, walk right in, watch your game, get back on the light rail. You're done. No fuss.
And we're talking about an extreme example of like a Julio Rodriguez bobblehead night, which is a huge deal. It's the beginning of the season. Lines are going to be crazy long for that. But like if you have the opportunity to go to, say, next Wednesday's 1:00 game against the Angels like I do, it's going to be easy to get in and out of there.
That's true.
Like I have that opportunity. But I'm just saying the point is like pay attention to what game you're going to and plan accordingly, like you're saying.
Yeah, and again, though, it's like it's putting so much effort on the fan to make sure that they have an enjoyable experience at the stadium, which for me, like, I mean, I've been doing this shit my entire life. I know how to get in and out, where to go in the stadium and stuff, but people don't, and it's not good for the casual fan, and especially if the Mariners are trying to grow and trying to expand and to do all this stuff. They really need to figure it out, and they are going to get absolutely eaten alive on Twitter. It's going to be worldwide, or at least nationwide.
Baseball world.
Yeah, baseball world and nationwide news if the Mariners fumble the bag during All-Star Week.
They got to figure it out quick.
It's almost funny, like the MLB itself has made like a push to be like more consumable by the average fan with the pitch clock, the shorter games. And it's just like, what does T-Mobile do? Like, I don't even know if more staff will fix the problem. I think it's almost a layout of the building itself. Like, I've been to Colorado and the Braves field, and it's like their concourse is like 3 times the size. It's like the concession wall, like around the stadium, is like you're deep compared to where you have to go down to your seats. But like that creates an experience where there's not these like crazy bottlenecks. Like, we were walking to our seats on opening day, and we just got randomly stopped into this crazy big line for no reason. I don't even know where we were.
I mean, we were right around the right field corner and the 100 level.
That
But it
happens
just
there
like
a lot.
yeah,
it's so bad there.
The building itself just moves in to like within like the foul pole and everything coming in, and it's just like, I don't know, like you can fit maybe like 10 people wide, and it's like 5,000 people trying to get through. It's just, I don't know. Maybe when they have plans to tear down T-Mo, they'll fucking do a better layout. But it's almost like the architecture of the building needs to change for the crowd to be like lessened, the impact to be lessened.
If you guys want some helpful tips, if you're kind of nervous about going to the stadium, arrive early, take the light rail. Do not worry about parking or paying for parking. Take the light rail. If you live around the Renton area, go to Tukwila Station, $5, hop onto the light rail, takes you right to the stadium. And if you can, get seats somewhere in the 300 level because one, the crowds are less up there. And if you walk towards the ends, either the right field or left field corner in the 300 level, usually the lines tend to be pretty small. So because everyone gravitates towards the middle section of the park, so if you just wing yourself out a little bit, you'll find yourself walking right up, getting your food, getting your drinks or whatever, and being able to head back to your seat. Whereas if you went to like the concession stand right by your seat, you're going to be standing there for 2.5, 3 innings. So branch out, go to the wings of the stadium, show up early, light rail. And the 300 level, also, you can't beat the view. If you have little kids that you take with you, there's a nice little children's area up kind of behind home plate. They can do speed pitch. Then the view of the city and the sound is gorgeous. So there are tips in the know of like how to make the experience better. But I mean, sitting in the 100 level, it is a nightmare. Plus, you have so many people that don't care about the game and stuff in the 100 level and like just stand up in the middle of pitches, and it can get kind of frustrating. So if you're in the know, you can have a much better stadium experience.
Yeah, I definitely recommend Terrace Club.
Yes.
If you're willing to shell out a few extra bucks, it's kind of a closed off section, and there are a lot more respectful fans in that area where they get up and down at the right time. They're not standing up in front of you. The lines are a little bit shorter because there's just less seats on that second level, and it is a great view. I've always loved my Terrace Club experience.
If you ever want the feeling of looking down on peasants, you get Terrace Club.
It's nice.
It is so snazzy. You have your own like personal concourse. It's all carpet.
And they have that little area behind home plate in the Terrace Club, has like all that nice like Mariners like memories, and
Yeah.
it has that really nice wall.
Yeah, cool timeline and pictures
Yeah,
of
timeline,
different
timeline.
players throughout the years. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, so if you have got the budget for it, I would say Terrace Club. It's also significantly cheaper than suites or diamond clubs or whatever, which is damn near impossible and way out of most people's budget range to get. Terrace Club is, I mean, $40 extra per ticket than like maybe 20 than anywhere in the 100 level. And you will have a much better experience. Or, I mean, honestly, even the 300 level on the right field side, you get a beautiful view of the city. Behind home plate, you get a nice view on the backdrop and like the ferries and the water. And then in left field, you're shielded a little bit more from the wind. So, yeah, honestly, there's nothing wrong with sitting in the 300 level. Also, I kind of prefer the top-down view where you can see the whole field at once. It's
cool to see when we're on left field, like see launch angles for home runs. I really appreciate that because on TV, you know, from the batter's perspective, it's so hard, or the pitcher's perspective, to see them hit like a dinky ass fly ball. I'm like, oh, no way that's going out. And then it goes out. But like when you're, you know, on the left side of the field, right side of the field, you can like really see the launch angle and be like, okay, that's got enough distance. That's got the legs. And it's just like a special feeling almost. Where I'm guessing when I'm watching on TV.
And also, do your best to avoid the center field bleachers. You can't see the scoreboard, and a lot of stuff happens on the scoreboard. A lot of in-between inning entertainment, boat races, the hat trick, replays, everything. Like, you can't see shit. You got to turn all the way around. It's uncomfortable. And even still, the scoreboard is so big, you turn around and you can only see a fraction of it. So avoid center field bleachers at all costs.
I have a couple pluses to center field bleachers.
Oh, let's hear it.
The sunset over the sound is amazing. The view is sick. Obviously, you can't see the screen. That's the big minus. They're cheap. There's going to be like $10 center field bleachers tickets, which means when I buy those tickets, I'm going to be walking around the stadium and expecting to be walking and standing and trying to find a better view and just like roaming because I like doing that at a game too.
I was going to say
if
the
I don't
exact
get a
same
good
thing.
ticket.
Get the cheap tickets and then just wander.
Yeah, and I guess this is more for like if you have kids or whatever and want to like avoid center field. But if you're okay with wandering around and checking out the entire stadium, then yeah, I mean, you might as well buy the cheap center field bleachers or even get standing room only tickets and just wander. I mean, you can do that.
Yeah,
So.
I think they only sell those tickets when it's like sold out though. Like that's extra seating almost, like capacity games where they have standing room tickets. But hopefully we have more of those this year.
Yeah. And again, we hope for a little bit stronger showing from the Mariners coming up.
Yeah, how do we feel about, say, like Colton Wong's performance so far? If we want to talk about a player that's new here.
I was watching him. I thought it was pretty good, and then Owen told me that he's batting 91, and I was like, I'd
Could
take
be
it back.
better.
Well,
that's
Teoscar Hernandez is batting 0.
91 is like 1 for 11, right? He got a hit. He drove in Julio after his leadoff double, and that looked nice. I was impressed. His first at bat, he's been batting left-handed a lot. His first at bat, he hit one in the air to right center, and I was like, whoa, he's got way more pop than Adam Frazier. And he was hitting the ball hard to the left side, or the right side, I mean, but like on the ground. But like he was slapping it pretty hard. I think he made a bad error at second base where JP tried to flip him the ball and he like dropped the ball or something. But hopefully that's not a trend that continues because we've already said he had a lot of errors last year.
Yeah, quite a few errors last year.
But I think his bat already looks more poppy than Frazier's does. He looks more athletic and quicker.
I don't know. It's hard for me to tell because Frazier just like played abysmal, and right now, I mean, I know we're only 3 games into the season, but right now he's just not. He's not at like the 200 average that Frazier had. I know Frazier hit way better. It's hard. I know.
11 at bats. Give him a break.
I know.
here.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm not like. It's just hard for me to compare. It's just like, okay, I saw a whole year of Frazier, and it was like a whole year of like disappointment, and so like.
He had a better second half than a first half last year, and he settled into his role, but it never was great, like you're saying. Like, we want something better than what we had with Frazier. I think we'll see with Colton Wong, but I'm still saying just slight upgrade. That's kind of been my view this whole time. It's kind of like switch hitter, a little more athletic, quick guy.
You still
Like-
see it as an upgrade now, like for offensive wise, even though he's batting 91.
I mean, it is only 3 games, so
The way that I've seen his at bats play out and the balls that he hits, he puts the ball in play, doesn't strike out. When he walks, he walked and tried to steal, like a run and hit kind of situation. I think he's a little bit more of a threat, is what I'm saying. I think it's a potential thing, not a performance thing so far.
I don't know. Didn't Frazier come off like the year before last year? He came off a batting title, didn't he?
Well, he came off like a high batting average season. Not a batting title by any means. High batting average, but he's a slap hitter. Colton Wong has a little more punch. Like a little more pop, a little more spring in his step.
Okay.
Yeah, I still see it as an upgrade. Small sample size and everything, but we're going to see it throughout the season. He'll definitely be better.
right. And again, on all fronts, it's way too early to really get a judge on how these guys are going to play out. Like, I mean, it's not like Teoscar is going to go 0 for the season.
Could you imagine?
I made a really bold prediction that through the rest of this homestand, Teoscar only hits extra base hits, or gets out or whatever. So he's either going to walk or hit a double or a homer, basically.
Or
is my
strike out.
idea. Through the rest of this homestand. He's obviously 0 for so far. He might have a low amount of hits, but I think all of his hits this homestand, extra base hits.
We'll see.
We'll see. And yeah, it's not the offensive showing that we wanted to see to kick the season off, but it's kind of the offensive showing you expect from a notoriously slow starting team. Like, and I'll admit, like, today leaving the stadium, I was frustrated watching essentially 2 hits. I mean, 3 overall, but gifted 1 to Julio. And then getting shut out like 2-0. It's a long season, but still, those types of games can be frustrating. And you want your team to start out a little bit hotter. But again, it's what to expect, It's going to happen until the weather gets warmer.
And it all adds up in the run differential. Later
We're
in
like
the
minus
season.
2 right now.
Well,
Minus.
Uh,
How about they scored? They
2,
scored
5,
9 last day.
So about -4 probably because we won 3-0.
And then
We
lost
wanna
by 5.
score a couple of runs. It sucks getting blanked.
Mine's 7.
It does. It's frustrating as a fan.
It's gonna feel good to put a bigger number up there one of these days here soon, and hopefully
All we need
by
is
the
a
time this
15
comes
spot,
out.
you know?
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. Savali's a pretty good pitcher. He had a good year last year. He's figured a lot of things out. The Guardians are a notoriously good pitching organization. They raise good pitching. Like they've always done it. They always do it. So I'm not so disappointed. Like I said before, it's a low run differential game. The Mariners love being in those close games, and it's always a threat. I even felt late in this game when LaStella hit the double. I had hope. I had a lot of hope. Like, we've seen the Mariners do it. There's a different energy around these situations where it's a little bit less pessimistic in my mind, where I'm like, hey, there's always a shot. And I like that a lot about the energy this year, where even if we lose a 2-0 game, we had a couple opportunities to, like, make it happen. We just didn't have good at-bats overall. Like, Savali pitched well.
I mean, Savali was like in the 6th or 7th inning, and he was still around 50 or 60 pitches. So that just shows that the Mariners were not putting good at bats. I mean, I can, like, just off the top, I remember 4 or 5 different at bats throughout the night. First pitch, pop out. First pitch, ground out. Not working counts, being too aggressive. And that's something that, they'll figure out over time and try to take more intelligent at bats. You don't need to go out there and jump on the first pitch, especially like multiple times. It's okay if like 1 or 2 guys do it, but if it's clear that a couple guys have swung at the first pitch and they're not getting the contact that they want, as a team, and I mean the hitting coach and stuff needs to be telling those guys, okay, work the count a little bit. This guy is on his way to throwing a Maddox, which is, complete game shutout under 100 pitches, which he didn't do. They used relievers and stuff. But he was on, like, the right path for it with how little of pitches he's throwing. The coaching staff needs to tell their players to work counts. And I think one of the only long at-bats I remember today is Suarez fouled off, like, 4 or 5 pitches with a 2-strike count. But then the guy buried a ball in the dirt and Suarez half swung out of his shoes on it. It was an ugly strikeout at the end of a decent at bat, a plus at bat. But I put the blame not as much on the hitters, but I put that on the coaching staff. You got to be in those players' ears, telling them to work counts and get that pitch count up.
Just a quick question for y'all. Is the number 1 batter spot, is that like a spot where you primarily work counts and see pitches and trying to extend him?
I've always thought so. I was a leadoff hitter when I played ball, like in high school and stuff, and that was my role, was to get on base whatever way that is. I wasn't necessarily a powerful hitter. Like, I was a slap fast guy. Like, let's say JP Crawford last year, he let off quite a bit, and he works counts really well. He'll foul off 4 or 5 pitches when he has 2 strikes pretty easily. Like, he doesn't strike out a lot, high contact rate. You want to work pitches, you want to work counts and, like, get on base. But right now, like, we have Julio up there, right? He's kind of like that George Springer kind of guy.
True.
Where, like, he can make it 1-0, or he can walk and steal a base. He can hit a single, he can hit a double. He has the whole range. Julio's being a little bit too aggressive in the one spot, in my opinion. He's swinging at those first pitch fastballs, just swinging at fastballs that are a little bit out of his power zone because he sees fastball. Like, he could be more patient, and I think the whole lineup could be more patient. I do also think the pitch clock is kind of pushing pressure onto batters as well, where they, like, pull the trigger more often. If they swung on the first pitch, they're going to swing a lot throughout the at-bat.
And I'll agree with the Julio thing about him being a little aggressive to start the season. But also on that, I mean, today was Julio bobblehead night. It was his night. And then on Thursday, it was opening day. And he wants to put on a show for the fans. He wants to be that guy. And so I think, again, it's just a little bit of the opening homestand jitters and trying to do maybe a little too much. And we know that Julio is an intelligent hitter. And so I think it's just a little bit of trying to do a little too much to start the season. So, he'll get better at bats, and the team will get better at bats as well. I think, they're just trying to do a little too much. They're not really being smart in the counts so far, and it will improve over time, 100%.
I really like that Springer comparison. That is such a good comparison, because I remember Springer, like back in when he was on the Stros, he hit a lot of first at bat bombs, leadoff bombs, which is really cool.
I think he has the record for that.
I think so, and I mean, Julio's such a strong hitter. I think it's such a good comparison. Like, I don't know. He's such an aggressive hitter, and he's obviously one of the better hitters on the team. I would almost consider moving him to third or fourth. I don't know who we would put at first, but someone who could extend the count and extend in the at bat.
If JP's hot, put him there. If Colton Wong's hot, put him there. Both of those guys are options for that. I could definitely see Julio more in the middle of the lineup to pack more of a punch at some point. Right now, we're not seeing that. We're sticking with him at the top. And I will say, regardless of him being aggressive, he is putting really good swings on balls. He'll foul them straight back. He's just off of them. He's not mistiming them. He's not being stupid. Right. He has struck out once, twice, but he's aggressive. And he wants to put the best swing on a pitch he can. If he sees it out of the pitcher's hand, he wants to put the best swing on it he can. And he makes that decision instantly, And I don't know. I like his at-bats. He's being a little aggressive. He is a little anxious. He is trying to put on the show right away, especially in those situations with runners on base where we need it. The crowd chants Julio. Mm-hmm. He's young, he's exciting, he's explosive, and he knows it. But he does need to kind of grow into his shoes just that tiny bit. And this first homestand is a little more pressure than we're used to, and he'll settle into his own. I think he's going to have a banger year.
100%. And again, still really early on in the season. Nothing to hang your head about. I mean, you can have your early season frustrations, but I'm really hoping at least for a decent upcoming series against the Angels. One last topic we can kind of touch on before we wrap this episode up. Anthony Rendon on the Angels recently got into some hot water. He was walking off the field on opening day. An Athletics fan called him a bitch, and he grabbed that fan by the jersey, he was wearing a jersey too, the fan was. Grabbed the fan by his jersey, pulled him in close, said some words to him, and then tried to slap him in the face. I know Garrett and I had a difference in opinion on this.
Yeah, talk shit, get hit.
You can't just go hitting fans, bro. I've called lots of players bitches. We talked a lot. Patrick and I were there on opening day last year. We were talking shit to Bregman. He didn't fucking grab us.
He did blow us kisses, though. That was kind of funny.
There's a difference between blowing somebody kisses.
It was right before some Astros fans called him over. And again, we didn't swear at him or anything like that. We were just like, Bregman, bang, 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 bang. And he looked at us and blew us a kiss.
But he has a good sense of humor.
It was, I hate the guy.
He has a ring. What is he going to do? What does Rendon have?
He likes to play the heel, so he's not going to come mad at you, hit you. Right. He's going to be blow you kisses. But Rendon, we already know that he wants to fight the Mariners with a broken hand,
Yeah, but you also weren't within arm's reach of the guy, yelling in his face.
That's just such a breach of your sportsmanship, as a player, grabbing a fan. So and he tried to hit him.
He did. And he swung and missed because that's what Rendon does.
Put the shoe on the other foot. Put the shoe on the other foot. As a fan, do you not have to respect the players as well? I think you have a responsibility.
Rule? Do I have to?
There are rules in the ballpark about being courteous, and there are respectful rules. I think the dude, saying like Garrett said, dude, like talk shit, get hit, because you're
This isn't the
you
street,
are
bro. This
crossing
is
a
the
line.
This is
We're
fucking baseball.
talking about two
You're-
adults.
You're verbally.
we're talking
assaulting-
about
yourself
We're
accordingly.
talking about two adults. One adult makes like $50 million a year.
You're still verbally assaulting a big man. that's,
verbal
like,
assault.
a
Okay,
few feet away.
Okay.
I brought
There
up
is no
the
such thing as
comparison,
verbal assault.
the Bill Burr bit about, the Malice in the Palace, and he's like, buddy, come up here. Well, they came up there. It's like, what the fuck do you want, man?
Now, see, this is where I'm kind of in the middle ground because I'm all for heckling. However, there is a limit. You should never go after family, kids, especially. I mean, and even like calling a player a bitch. I personally feel that
It's a pretty soft heckle, to be
as
honest.
heckle. I mean, it's very generic and it's just like it's not like a personal attack.
That's why I like to tell Randy Arozarena his shoes untied. That's my favorite heckle.
However, the thing is, it does come with the territory of being an athlete. And I mean, you look at fans in Philly, New York, Boston, it is terrible out there. They
Brutal fan bases, yeah.
brutal fan bases.
Can I give a huge example from a couple years ago?
Yeah, go for it.
Jesse Winker, when he was on the Reds, Mets fans were giving him shit. There was that fan in the stands that had the sign that was like, Jesse Winker's a bitch. And like, see, Winker's the kind of guy that's going to play into that. He knows he's a fan favorite. He loves the like being in Mets Stadium and Shea Stadium, like getting shit on out there. But it's all in good fun. And like, there's it's all in jest and in fun. I'm sure there's some rowdy fans that are, unsavory, but at the same time, like Rendon's not that guy. He's never been that guy. And I don't want to defend Rendon.
No, he seems
I
like a
don't
grumpy
think-
dick for sure.
I don't think any player should be grabbing some fan and trying to like slap them. That's kind of a bitch move,
See,
honestly.
that's my point.
So-
I'm not saying I condone it, but also,
I
talk shit, get hit.
understand, but like, like Rendon's a struggling player. He's trying to come back. He has his own internal struggles. I'm sure ego struggles. He's getting paid a ton. He's been hurt. Everyone has been shitting on him this entire time. The contract. The Angels are dumb. Why'd they spend money on this guy? But is he going to prove himself?
Athletes around the world get called bitch and worse every day of their lives
Yeah.
at a game. Like,
You're right.
I just don't. He just crossed the line. Like, just fucking walk off, bro. You're right there by the tunnel. Call him a bitch back and move on.
Yeah, did he
Yeah, I would
blow a
even be
fuse?
okay if, like, I mean, even if he just flipped him off or, like, I'd even say, like, blow me or something, But the fact that and it just goes to show that it's getting to him. And, like, that's why, and, like, you mentioned Bregman playing the heel role. Like, Bregman knows what he did, and he's embraced it. And I hate him. I hate him so much. Oh, my God. But, like, there's a part that's like, okay, at least he can handle it in stride. And the only thing this did for Rendon is put an even bigger bullet on his back, or target on his back. Like, everyone now knows that he has a soft spot and it's easy to get to him. And I said, as heckles go, it's very soft. It's very generic. Like, literally, you want to show off to the guy, just walk back out with like a picture of your pay stub. The dude's getting paid $260 million. And that guy's an athletics fan. Like,
Right.
I don't know. It would be different if he had said something like a real personal dig or
Like a
something about
racist
his
remark or
family,
some shit.
racism, something about his family. Then you want to swing at the dude. I would be cheering for Rendon for that, honestly. But for such a softball heckle and to let it get to you that much, and I mean he's gonna probably face disciplinary action from the league for that. I've seen some people talking like 30-game suspension and shit. I think that's absolutely ridiculous, especially because he did grab the fan and he swiped at him. He did try to slap him.
It was a pretty
prompted.
limp-wristed attempt at a slap, too.
The grab was real.
The grab was real, but you see him swipe, and it's just like, playing with a kitten. He's just like,
Yeah.
meh.
I mean, he had some velocity on it, but it wasn't
didn't look
close
that
fist
bad.
or
How do you
anything.
define assault, bro? Like,
Oh, no, I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying. It didn't seem like he swung hard at the guy. It wasn't a closed fist punch or anything like that.
And so I think the league will, though, try to make a point of like, yeah, that's not okay. I imagine 3 to 5 game suspension, probably nothing too major. I do think he will face some type of disciplinary action, though.
We talk about the fact that there were like 3 Angels there that watched this whole thing go on and didn't do a damn thing.
That's
true,
not
too.
just 3 Angels. 2 of them was Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
Those are supposed to be team leaders.
Ohtani looking over like, oh shit.
And,
Okay,
and
let's keep
Trout
walking.
couldn't even be phased. And
Trout looked like he didn't know what the fuck was going on. He's just like, what?
and it just kind of shows that, I mean, obviously the team chemistry is not clicking in Anaheim. They are having their struggles over there.
Yeah, dude blew a fuse. I don't know what's up. Everyone knows that he's kind of been the biggest
Grumpy dick.
downfall. And like, does he even like playing baseball? This is my point here. Does he like playing baseball? Everyone knows that. Oh, I'm just good at it, so I do it. Everyone knows he's made statements that are like, yeah, fuck it. Maybe he's just trying to get the fuck out of baseball as soon as possible because he knows the Angels are tearing it down. And he's like, I'll just get paid and not play.
Well,
Sounds good.
That's pretty much what he's doing already. So, yeah, maybe that's his
Yeah.
grandmaster plan.
Is this the first step towards DFA Rendon? You know what I mean?
Oh, and I don't know if you made this up or if you read it somewhere, but you said to us, like, Rendon in mid-season form.
Oh, I
swing
read that
and
shit on
miss.
Twitter, bro.
Okay,
Yeah, it was
well,
a pretty-
shout
I
out to the
fucking
Twitter
copied
guy,
that
but
shit.
that is funny.
Swing and a miss.
Swing and a miss.
Mid-season form already.
So that's some big baseball news, and the Mariners' upcoming series is against the Angels, and there's a chance Rendon won't be playing.
I just want to mention opening day was awesome all around baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I did want to just mention briefly that Matt Brash threw that gnarly 17-inch break
Oh
slider to
my
put Jose
God.
Ramirez on his ass. That was awesome.
Yo, go, if you haven't seen it yet, find the clip on Twitter, YouTube, anything. It is so hilarious to watch this dude corkscrew himself into the dirt.
I think it's all John Boy.
Yeah.
Swinging out of his shoes.
That
So
was
good.
hilarious.
Yeah, the pitch starts out like the middle of the plate. The thing takes off towards his back foot, left-handed hitter. He swings at the pitch, and the reason he falls over is because that pitch is going to hit him in the back foot. He doesn't want to look foolish, so he tries to move his back foot.
And then
but
his
he
feet got caught and like
ends up looking extra foolish, falling straight on his behind.
That's good times.
Great time. So, all right, couple games into the season. There's been some highs, there's been some lows, but luckily it's a long season, and we'll be here to talk to you about all of it. Thank you guys so much for listening. You can always find us on Spotify, Facebook, Instagram. Tell your friends about the Sogcast, and if you're like my aunt, send me a topic that you want to hear us talk about on the show, and we'll put it into an episode and we'll discuss it.
Like it, share it, refute our opinions, put it in the comments. We'll respond.
Yeah.
Let's go.
We
We'll
won't
talk
go.
about it.
We won't go Anthony Rendon on you. You can talk all the shit you want in the comments. Go for it.
Yeah.
It's
You call me a bitch, though. I'm swinging.
We have a YouTube viral right now where I'm taking a pitch on wiffle ball and hit myself in the face on a foul ball.
Oh, it's
tight.
sick.
Oh, I can also link that on Facebook too.
I just
So-
happened to be pitching. It was so nasty. It was so nasty.
Hey, it was like a curve or something. I
Yeah, it
sat
was.
on it for a second and then
It was a slow, loopy curve. You took it right to the nose off your
Yeah.
bat.
That is hilarious. That video is so funny. I've watched it probably a million times, and I laugh every single time.
Yeah, give it a watch. It's like a 10-second
That's just
video.
so good. You just see me sit on it for like an extra second, and then I do this big ass swing, and it
Yeah.
just pops on the top and hits me right in the face.
Patrick's face afterward too, just staring at him like, bro, what is you doing?
I'm trying to hit a curveball, man.
Well, thank you all so much. We love you guys. Thank you for listening, and we'll be back next week with more Mariners content. And go
Oh, Mariners!